Hey yo, everybody. How's it going? We are live. Alex here. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is staying creative, making music, and getting excited for this new chapter, getting into September and to summer, and really reinvigorating your creative process and your focus for music. So we're live here. And first and foremost, let's get some stuff out of the way. Music Creator Academy, which is an in-depth production course, a proven system, a roadmap to really help you grow and develop your creativity, yourself as an artist, as a producer, and a framework to get your songs from your idea stage to the arrangement stage, and then playing around with editing those arrangements, the whole mixing stage, getting a master, and releasing tracks that are at a top quality. And it's a system you can continuously work and refine to help discover your unique talents, your unique approach to things, while still getting that professional sound that is awesome. So we have a sale going on for that course for this week only. And it's just an end of summer sale because I know there's a lot of momentum in the air when September comes around with the new school year. So I wanted to celebrate the end of summer and invite anybody who really wanted to focus and level up their craft and really get the fast track to getting the result they're after. I wanted to invite people to join. So if that's something you're interested in, I have a link above this video. So check that out. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to drop a comment below, shoot me a DM, whatever it is, but just keep in mind that sale is on till the end of Friday. All right, so what I wanted to do with these live videos is actually talk about the 4 main modules that you'll see in the course, but even just elaborate on them so you can take value from them right now. And you can actually start reimagining and reinvigorating your creative approach, your craft, how you go about things with music production, and maybe even identifying a few goals that you can chip towards once September rolls around. So what we're going to focus first and foremost on is foundations, the idea of foundations in a broad sense. And this is something we go super deep into in the course, but there's many ways to think about mastering your foundations, because to achieve any form of mastery, any form of proficiency, prolificness, a professional level, you have to master the fundamentals of whatever craft you're in. So you have to be so familiar with the fundamentals of your craft that it becomes second nature. All right, so that you're not tasked with thinking about it. It's not a stressful thing. It's not even a task or a problem to overcome. It's a tool and a skill that you exercise second nature, and that allows you to actually focus on the more high level creative things and the more advanced stuff, as long as your foundations are rock solid. So there's a few things within music production, audio production, making music, being a producer, all those things that are foundational skills that you want to be very familiar with to establish the base of the pyramid, so to speak, towards mastery. So first of all, we have to understand the actual medium we are working with, which is sound. All right, because everything we do revolves around manipulating, shaping, creating, organizing sound in a way that really feels important and feels connected to us in an artistic way, and showcasing that to share as an art form. And that is the first medium that we use, is sound. So it's understanding how sound waves work, how they interact, the different frequency spectrum, where most sounds live in. Some sounds will live in the bass frequencies, the low mids, the high mids, and you'll see these things occur over and over. And if you can familiarize yourself with the typical frequency area that sounds typically live in, or even customizing your ear to being able to hear frequencies and understanding where perhaps the fundamental frequency is, where the harmonics are, and really understanding sound, like really just understanding what characteristics of sound are positive for certain areas and are negative, and in context of the other sounds you're working with, because that is the actual beginning, right? When you start choosing instruments, whether you're loading presets on a synth, whether you're using outboard gear, whether you play an instrument like guitar, you're miking an amp, whether you're a vocalist, whether you play piano, it doesn't really matter what medium you're using. What matters is knowledge of what that medium creates versus all the other mediums you're using and how they interact. So I can't stress this enough. You really want to understand the basics of sound theory, right? Understanding phase, understanding masking, understanding harmonics, fundamental frequencies, understanding the frequency spectrum, your EQ, your compression. How does that all actually impact the sound wave? And the more you can actually become super familiar and just like second nature understanding of how sound waves work, how to manipulate them, how to choose the best sounds to create a song or to start out a song idea, the more you can focus on having that rock solid foundation, the easier it will be to stay inspired because it sounds good off the back. It's going to be way easier to mix your song and make it sound super high tier because you paid special attention to what sounds you're using, the recording techniques you're using, and what sounds you're picking to actually make up your track moving forward. So that is part of the foundation that I would definitely encourage you to focus on if it's not already rock solid, is that sound theory and understanding sound and vibration. On top of that, so that's the foundation. Another part of the foundation is understanding your DAW. So it doesn't matter if you're using Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studio, Bitwig, they're all very much similar and they all have things that they have in common and they all have unique things that are unique to them as well. And I would say that the DAW is the instrument of the 21st century that it's starting to become more seen in that light. However, it's not quite there yet. And it comes back down to if you're a music producer and you're using software instruments, you're recording stuff, you're arranging songs, you're editing them yourself, you're mixing them yourself, you're mastering them, you're releasing them, you're doing everything. If you're wearing all the hats, knowing your DAW inside and out is so important because it is the primary medium in which you're going to create your art. It's how you're going to manipulate sound, it's how you're going to record stuff, program in MIDI, edit the MIDI, play around with MIDI controllers and effects, is how you're going to mix your songs. Everything happens in the DAW. And if you have some resistance to understanding some basic functions in the DAW, like how to record certain things, how to set up returns, how to do parallel compression, how to do anything that comes into your mind that is an idea you have to enhance the song. If there's something that's in the way from a technical level or an understanding level, you won't be able to reach those higher things because there'll always be that friction of that lack of understanding. So again, to achieve a pro level, you really have to master those fundamentals. You really have to go deep and make it second nature so that when you pop up your DAW, you know where everything is. You know what every switch does. And if you have an idea or if you want to experiment with an idea, you know how to go about it. It's intuitive, right? It's fun. It's engaging. It's like a fun thing to navigate. It's not a stressful thing to try and figure out. And that's a huge threshold to pass, right? You don't want the software you're using to limit you. You want the software you're using to enhance what you're doing, to expand your creativity and really bring it to the next level. So that's another area that is super important to develop that we all cover in the course. That's the first module. And on top of that, there's a couple other things I want to talk about is really understanding not only sound, like how to record sound, how to sound design and design your synths and understanding how sound works, but also understanding the vibrational aspect of sound. And the way that I kind of talk about this in the course is like sound is the medium, but the vibration, the output, the perception of that sound, the result, right? The effect it has on the listener is the purpose, right? Is you're trying to share a piece of art that you've shaped and refined that's part of you, right? This is music that you really feel connected to and you're tweaking it, you're refining it, you're changing things, you're adding ideas, you're doing all these things to refine this piece of music, which is sound, to share with people. And then when people listen to that sound, they have a vibrational response, like they have a physical response, an emotional response to that art. And understanding that is the key to really knowing yourself as an artist, knowing what vibe is meaningful to you, knowing how to express that through your art, knowing perhaps how certain melodies, certain bass lines, certain rhythms play into that, and how to really engage your listener at a deeper level, right? Like really understand how to create a meaningful experience through sound, through vibration. So that's another part of the fundamentals of being a musician, an artist, a music producer, even a mixing engineer, is really focused on, is understanding that everything that we learn, whether it's technical knowledge, music theory, proficiency at playing an instrument, arranging techniques, sampling, it doesn't really matter the medium, because they all have to serve that purpose of actually moving somebody, actually having an impact. Because most people who enjoy music are not musicians, unless you're playing like super musician focused music. But most people who listen to music actually do not care about any of the technical stuff. All they care about is how it moves them. And that has to be the forefront of focus that we have throughout the process. So that's another really important foundational knowledge that you have to develop. And it's something that's a little bit more abstract, because what sounds do in terms of emotional impact, communicating a message, is very subjective. But I still encourage you to discover what that subjective meaning is to you in the music you love, what musical devices that other artists use that impact you, right? If it's a production technique, if it's a composition technique, whatever it is, you want to have some sort of foundational knowledge to build on and to explore with, to maybe try and communicate something the best possible with the listener. So that pretty much sums up what I would kind of encourage you to explore as developing massively strong foundations. And you could literally, if you just mastered those, your music would be leaps and bounds above the average. And it is the most beneficial way to move forward to all the more advanced stuff. We're going to talk about production. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about workflow and getting a real creative process that's flexible down. And we're going to expand on all that with these videos. However, the foundations are a must. Like I would say, focus all of your energy, if you're just getting started, on getting those foundations rock solid, because even if somebody gets more advanced but they forget the foundations, it will transpire in more of that advanced stuff. And then the advanced stuff doesn't really serve the purpose of the art in general. So that's kind of my 2 cents on foundation. Again, if this is something that interests you, if you're enjoying what you're hearing and you want to learn more, now is the best time to check out Music Creator Academy, because it's on sale for this week. It's the lowest price it's ever going to be. And I just really would love to be part of your musical journey. And there's no risk. Like if you want to try it out, see if it fits for you, there's the 30-day no questions asked refund if you decide it's not for you. So if it's something you want to check out, if you're encouraged, if you're like, you know what, let's make this happen, let's go, let's start in September, let's start this year off right and get some progress, some massive progress and growth, then I encourage you to check it out. But that's going to wrap it up for this live stream. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to drop a comment, shoot me a DM, and I'm also going to do more of these videos throughout this week as the sale goes on. So we'll talk to you